hands were trembling. My breathing got heavy. I sat there looking at the test. It was positive. My eyes started to tear up, and for a moment I lost my balance and fell down on the sofa. No, this can't be happening. I made a huge mistake that night. I let him touch me. I let it happen. It's all my own damn fault. I couldn't control my panic. He was about to get home. I should hide it from him. He will end me and his child if he knows. He will end us. He's cruel, dangerous. And I'm trapped with a man like him. I cannot have this baby, not with a dangerous man like him, but... I laid my hand on my belly and looked down. But I can't just remove it. The thought of it hurt. I felt pain through my whole body. It was an unfamiliar feeling. I never felt this kind of pain. Love. It's the only way. I'm so sorry, I whispered in tears to my belly. I took a deep breath. I can't have you, I whimpered. I suddenly heard many footsteps coming closer. His guards are here. That means he's home. I quickly wiped away my tears, and before I could put away the test, his guards and him entered the room. I grabbed the test in my hand and hid it behind my back as I bowed to him. "Welcome home, Mr. John," I said. I didn't dare to look into his eyes. He didn't say anything and dropped down on the sofa. I took a quick glance at him, and then I saw it. He looked frustrated. He was holding his gun, leaning it against his head as he looked mad. I took a step closer as my heart was beating loud. Every second I spent near him could turn into my last. "Mr. John, what's wrong?" I carefully asked as I searched for his eyes. And then he returned my gaze. His eyes showed madness, rage, destruction. That one glance told me everything. I was in danger. We were in danger. He held his gaze on me, and after a moment he suddenly started laughing. A laugh that was pure madness. He looked insane. I slowly took a step back again as I looked into those evil eyes. He suddenly stopped laughing and his face turned cold. "Do you love me, YN?" I frowned and slowly took a step back. "Yes, Mr. John, I love you." I lied. I don't think I ever loved him, but I was scared, terrified. As I took a step back, he suddenly grabbed my arm and pulled me into his lap. I gasped as I fell down on him. He tightly held onto me, his face close to mine. What was he doing? His lips came near my ear. "Would you die for me then, YN?" he said into my ear. Those words sent shivers through my whole body. What? I squeezed the pregnancy test, which I was still holding in my hand. I didn't know what to do. Maybe if I tell him... He slid the weapon over my body, intensifying the fear in my body. I was trembling and he could feel it. I was in his lap after all. "I want you to die for me, YN," he said as he turned my face toward his with his weapon. My heart was now beating in my chest. I could see his eyes clearly now. There was fire in it, mixed with a terrifying dark gleam. I was looking at a sin. Death was all I could think of. The gun now pointed at my belly as those sinful eyes looked into mine. "Don't, please," I begged, tears rolling down my face. You lied to me, YN. You do not love me, he said with hatred and anger in his voice. My heart was beating faster and faster. His eyes grew dark and cold. I had to escape, now. But I didn't. I couldn't. I just sat there on his lap, staring into his scary eyes. I'm sorry, Mr. Jung. I simply cannot love a monster like you, I said softly. I probably shouldn't have said that. I heard that before. I saw pain through all the madness in his eyes. I slowly caressed my hand over his face. I didn't know what had gotten into me, but for some reason I wanted to comfort him. Maybe I did feel something for him, something that couldn't be called love. I had lived with this man for over a year now, so it was only natural to develop some kind of attachment. He grabbed my hand and stopped me from touching him. Let's go to bed. He didn't let me in. He didn't let me into his walls that hid his emotions. I knew he had them. I knew it was digged somewhere deep inside of him, but I gave up trying to get in a long time ago. He put away his weapon and made me stand up. A huge breath made its way out of my chest. I was still alive. I had not slept for a week from the day I found out that I'm pregnant. Every night I slept next to my husband in fear, scared he will do something to us. I never cared for my life before. I never feared death before. I looked down at the positive pregnancy test in my hand. Until you. It was a matter of time until Jungkook would snap and decide to end me. I had seen it in his eyes. Something was wrong with him. Something unusual. That's why I decided to run away. I don't need him or anyone to raise this baby. I'll escape and change my identity and move far away from here, to a place he could never find me. I waited for the perfect moment, and it was now. He left town to get his hand dirty with innocent people, and most of his guards left with him. There was still one or two walking around, so I had to be careful. I had left a note on the table with my final goodbye to my husband. I took a quick glance at it before leaving. I'm leaving you. I am sorry. I could never love you because I was never loved by you. I will choose myself now. Goodbye, John. YN. A tear escaped my eyes as I read those words. Was I hesitating? No, I had no time to hesitate. I took a deep breath and stood up. It's time to leave this place for good. I'm doing this for you. There was not a single moment I had let go of this pregnancy test. I spent most of my time looking at the two red lines. It gave me strength. It made me do the right thing. I walked out of the yard with a backpack which had some clothes and some money that I stole from his safe. He had enough money anyways, he could miss it. This is it. I'm leaving. My heart felt so heavy. Despite everything, he still meant something to me. I will miss him a lot. I gasped and dropped to the ground as I heard gunshots and screams behind me. What was happening? I slowly pulled myself up and looked behind me as my body was trembling in fear. Oh my god, what did he do? I saw Jungkook inside of the house, surrounded by bodies of his guards and red fluid as he was holding his weapon. He looked furious. He was holding my note in his other hand, all crumpled up. He ended almost all of them. His eyes looked up and met mine, and then he started to walk up to me slowly, pointing his gun to me. My body froze from fear. I couldn't move, but I had to get away. "How can you do this to me, YN?" he said in pain and madness. His eyes were so scary. "Leave me alone, please." I took little steps back. I had to escape now. He suddenly threw the note in front of me in anger. "I have never loved you?" He screamed out loud and I gasped. My body was burning in fear as I kept taking slow steps back. How? How could you say that? I have done so much for you." I suddenly turned around and started to run towards the gate, but before I could reach it, he fired his weapon. I screamed out loud and stopped running. He shot next to me. "Why are you doing this? Please stop," I cried out desperately. "You cannot leave this place, YN. You can never leave me," he screamed in anger. Why? Why are you doing this? Why do you want to keep me captive here?" "Because I love you, YN. You need me. Only I can protect you." I shook my head in tears. No, a monster like you could never love anyone. He walked closer to me, his weapon still aimed at me. "How do you think I've become this monster, huh? It's because of love, YN. I have loved you and my mother so much, But none of you loved me back. She was so cruel to me. All she did was use me and control me and turn me into a monster. So I ended her. I ended her last week." Oh my god, he ended her. I knew something happened that day when he came home. I knew something was wrong. "And if you try to leave me, I will end you too, YN." His bloodshot eyes never moved away from mine. I can't let him scare me. I need to escape for my baby. "You're crazy. You can't protect me. I should be protected from you." I tightened my grip on the test and turned around, about to walk towards the gate again. I'd rather die than to stay here and let my child be raised by a monster. "You're wrong, YN. Only I can protect you. Protect you from your mind." "From my mind?" I heard him pull the hammer of his weapon. "No." I felt the bullet pierce through my body and pain took over my body. I fell down and the pregnancy test flew across the ground. "Please, Jungkook, save me. Save us," I whimpered in pain. He grabbed the test and knelt down in front of me, pulling me in his arms. He looked at the test and a tear rolled down his face. "Please save our baby, please," I said with the last bit of strength left in my body. He slowly put his hand over my cheek and shook his head. "I'm sorry, I failed to protect you, from you." "What?" "There is no baby. You're not pregnant." "No, what do you mean?" "It's a lie. You made it up, YN." My vision started to get blurry and I took one last glance at the pregnancy test and I finally saw it. It only had one line. None of it was real.